Committee, we start with Honorable Mwene Luhamba, MP for Mangangu.
Thank you so much. You have already introduced me. Thank you.
You are not greeting the listeners viewers today?
Yes, Chair, I would like to greet our very important listeners, very important viewers out there as usual. Council from LUMEZI, as well as our permanent officers. Please keep on watching Parliament TV and keep on listening to Parliament Radio as we broadcast directly from main buildings.
Thank you so much. The people of LUMEZI.
LUMEZI Town Council, good afternoon. Honorable Dr. Singombe, MP for Dundumwezi. Almost.
Thank you, the honorable people.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, my honorable. Good afternoon, our permanent witnesses. Good afternoon to our secretariat, and good afternoon to LUMEZI Council and the group. You are welcome to your committee. My name is Elliot Kamundo. I'm a member of Parliament from Fumba constituency.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kamundo. It's good. My name is Christopher. I represent the good people of Mandevu, of Lusaka district. We are privileged to host the National Assembly buildings, and you are in Mandevu constituency. Welcome, Chairperson of the committee. I wish to invite you to present your report.
Thank you, Chair. May I also be allowed to give an addendum?
Yes, please go ahead.
There are certain documentations that we didn't attach, but we have them here. And then, Chair, maybe this folder which says
Is that here?
no, it's over there. There are papers that are actually separating them.
Noted.
Then this other document is a continuation there. This addendum
Go ahead and distribute, Secretary.
report. There's certain corrections that we need to make just on page 14 and 15. Page 15 in the main report.
Page 14?
14, yes. Where it is indicating C appendix 1, 3, we cancel that one, we add just appendix 5. That's on page 14. Page 15 as well, the first paragraph also retains council should read appendix 5. Additions that
Okay.
Extension committee sat available funds would not allow for the engagement of contractors completed. Was ultimately or does not being capable of completing the project, leading to the termination. Action taken, Chair. The procurement committee had a sitting where it decided that the project be completed using the was available for the engagement of a contract completed. Completed. The legal advice intervention of statement was data from the Parliament Committee data guided management to use the labor-based approach. This because for the engagement has since been completed. So did not have the required the Department of World Affairs reviewed after pump testing by and this then and sanitation by merging the Eastern Water and Sanitation faced challenges in securing land for the kiosk, the tank stand and borehole site due to lack of a central business district, as all of the force accreditation. Sanitation company faced challenges in that they were unable to establish a viable water source despite 3 attempts being made, leading to the delay. Eastern Water, as a government institution, is a procuring entity, and the redoing of procurement processes also contributed to the delay. Additionally, Eastern Water and Supply imported some components such as the steel tank, which were not readily available, and the untimely delivery of these materials also contributed to the delay. Action taken, Chair. The local authority facilitated the negotiation meetings with the traditional leadership for provision of land for the water kiosk, the tank stand land, as well as the borehole site, as the process of acquiring land for the CBD is underway. The contractor has since managed to complete the works on the project. Appendix C, that's where the information will be found. Then remedial measure. The local authority will continue appointing project managers to manage the projects for timely delivery, as well as the conclusion of the CBD that will help.
Are you able to pull your microphone a bit closer to yourself?
Okay.
These proceedings are usually live on radio and sometimes on Parliament TV.
Thank you, Chair. Conclusion of the CBD will also curb the challenge of securing land for developmental projects. We get to cross-cutting issues. Appendix 1, budget funding and expenditure. Management response, cause of the query. Chair, management acknowledges the auditor's observations and wishes to state that the retained funds were meant for the construction of the Chief's Palace and insurance of motor vehicles. The balance on 2023 CDF funding against expenditure was for CDF programs that were outstanding at the end of 2023. Action taken, Chair. Management wishes to report that a reconciliation of the 2023 CDF funding and expenditure was undertaken, and the results as shown in the table below. Kindly note that 3,149,988,000 was a variation from bursaries to community projects, and the 260,478 kwacha balance is a retention for Eastern Water Supply and Sanitation Company and other projects. See Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Remedial measure, Chair. The Council always consider budget realignment or supplementary budget on either under or overperformance. Appendix 1.1, retained for Chief's Palaces. Management response. Chair, the cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's observations at the time of audit and wishes to state that the retained funds 936,751 was meant for the construction of the Chief's Palace. Action taken. The project is currently at 60%. The contract period was 8 months and expired on 30th August 2024. The contractor is therefore performing outside the contract period. See Appendix 4. Remedial measures. Management will continue to monitor the project to ensure that the quality works are done according to the specifications. Total unspent funds. Chair, management response. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observations that there was 10,462,791,000 as unspent funds. That was as at 31st December 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to report that 11,287,738 initially allocated for community projects was and subsequently utilized in 2024. Supporting documentation including ledgers, vouchers, and the completion certificates for the projects are attached for verification. Kindly also note that 3,149,988 was a variation from bursaries to community projects, and that the 264.79.7 balance was the retention for Eastern Water and Sanitation projects. See Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Remedial measure chair management will continue conducting regular progress monitoring and reviews to enhance project planning and implementation timelines. Appendix 2.1, unspent funds under community projects.
I wish to guide that the heading there should read overspent funds, not unspent.
Thank you, Chair.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. We have noted. Thank you. Under Appendix 2.1, overspent funds community projects. Management response. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observations and wishes to state that the balance on 2023 CDF funding against the expenditure was for community projects that were outstanding at the end of 2023. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the 9,683,39 kwacha in 2022 was meant for community projects, was spent in 2023. Find attached the status reports from the Office of the Auditor General, which is attached. Then there is also Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Remedial measure. Chair, the Council will always consider budget alignment on either under or over performance. Appendix 2.2, unspent funds empowerment grants. Management response. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings on empowerment grants. Action taken. Management wishes to state that 2,151,857 received funds for empowerment were spent accordingly during the period under review. See Appendix 5. Remedial measure. Then the other item, Chair, remedial measure. Management will always ensure that the process for dispersing empowerment funds is done on time to avoid any delays. Appendix 2.3, unspent funds empowerment. It's actually the same. Yeah. The same.
Make progress. Yeah, this one is a repetition.
To the other one. Appendix 2.4, secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and notes that the unspent balance of 3,149,988,000 under secondary boarding and skills development bursaries in 2023 was attributed to lower than anticipated student enrollment numbers as verified by various learning institutions. Action taken, Chair. Management wishes to state that 3,149,988,000 was varied to community projects through a formal variation process and was fully utilized in 2024. See Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Remedial measure. Management to ensure that in cases where low student numbers affecting secondary boarding and skills bursary allocations, variation of funds to other projects are made promptly within the same financial year, thereby preventing the accumulation of unspent funds. Appendix 2.5, unspent funds administrative costs.
Here also the heading should read overspent administrative costs, not unspent.
Thank you, Chair. So, overspent funds administrative costs. Cause of the query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observations at the time of audit and wishes to state that the overpayment of 277,868 was part of the brought forward figures for 2023 administrative cost, which was not spent at the end of the year in 2022, which was meant for monitoring and other administrative costs. Action taken, Chair. Management wishes to state that 227,868, which was meant for administrative cost in 2022, was spent in 2023. Find attached the audit status report and the extract of the financial statements for the year ended 2023. See Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Remedial measure, the Council will always consider budget realignment or supplementary budget on either under or over performance. Page 17, Appendix 3, 2022 community projects. Cause of query. The delay in implementation was due to underperformance of the 3 contractors who were working on the classroom block and challenges encountered by Eastern Water and Sewerage Company, who had unsuccessfully drilled several dry boreholes. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the contracts where the contractors underperformed were terminated and completed on a labor-based method of construction after recommendation by the Procurement Committee. The matter was added for additional funding to the CDF committee, which was granted. Efforts were also made to seek legal advice from Attorney General's office in Chipata after an appeal by one contractor. Attorney General reviewed the contracts for the construction of the 3 classroom blocks for some time. The projects have since been completed. Eastern Water and Sewerage Company also finally managed to complete the works. See Appendix 1. Remedial measure. Prompt action against the underperforming contractors will be quickly dealt with, especially with the current establishment of a legal section at the local authority, who also aid in giving timely legal advice. Appendix 4, 2023 community projects. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the findings of the auditor and would like to state that the outstanding project was the phase 2 of the water reticulation system being constructed under Eastern Water Supply and Sanitation Company, which has since been completed. The contractor faced challenges in securing a successful borehole with the required yield after 3 attempts being dry boreholes. Action taken. The contractor was engaged on several occasions and the contractor managed to complete the projects. See Appendix 1. Remedial measure. Strict monitoring and management and engagements with the contractors will continue to ensure that projects are completed within the earliest possible time. Appendix 5, analysis of performance, youth, women, and community grants. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings at the time of audit and wishes to state that the cause of this query was due to high number of rejected applications as a result of an overwhelming response to the CDF grant advert. The CDF committee approved 101 out of 163 empowerment grants applications in order to be within the 2023 CDF allocation, which was 2,151,857. Further, some applications had not met. The management wishes to report that feedback was provided to reject applications, highlighting areas for improvement and offering guidance on how to strengthen the applications. This was after a thorough review of the rejected
Finish the sentence where you are saying, let's go back to page 18. Further, some applications had not met. What are we adding there?
the requirements.
Yes. Now you
Thank
can
you.
proceed.
Full stop, Chair. Thank you for that guide. Management wishes to report that feedback was provided to rejected applicants, highlighting areas for improvement and offering guidance on how to strengthen their applications. This was after a thorough review of the rejected applications to identify common reasons for rejection. See Appendix 5. Remedial measure, Chair, to improve the approval rate and support more applications in the future. Management will facilitate more capacity building and training programs for applicants to enhance their skills in proposal writing and project management. Appendix 8, performance analysis of soft loans. The cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and that 6,159,771, being a total sum of 2022 and 2023 empowerment loans, was allocated at the same time after receiving guidance from the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development through the circular dated 24th March 2023. See Appendix 6. Action taken. Management wishes to state that the 6,151,771, being the total for 2022 and 2023 loan amount, was disbursed at the same time, leaving no balance. Remedial measure. To prevent delays in loan disbursement, management to ensure that all CDF loans are disbursed within the same financial year they are approved, eliminating unnecessary delays and ensuring timely access to funds for beneficiaries. Appendix 9, failure to recover loans. Chair, the cause of query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings, and as of the audit date, only 271,934 kwacha was recovered from the total amount of 732,497 were attributed to the failure by beneficiaries to repay loans due to non-deposit of loan funds. Action taken. Chair, management wishes to state that subsequent to the audit, a total of 861,449 kwacha has been recovered from the outstanding amount. To address the remaining balance, management has intensified efforts to engage with defaulting beneficiaries through monitoring and regular engagement meetings. See Appendix 7. Remedial measure. Management to continue conducting regular engagement meetings and monitoring follow-ups with beneficiaries for compliance in line with loan agreement. Further, we shall enhance beneficiary screening and vetting processes. Where the above failed, we may seek legal action for the defaulters. Appendix 10, secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Management response. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's observation that at the time of the audit, 265 students had graduated from their skills development courses, exceeding the 238 sponsored students. The excess number comprised for 2022 sponsored students who completed their courses in 2023. Furthermore, only 11 out of 297 secondary school bursary recipients had graduated, as they were the only grade 12 pupils at the time, while the remaining beneficiaries were in lower grades. Action taken. Chair, management has confirmed that the remaining secondary school bursary recipients are progressing well in their studies. Remedial measure. Management will continue to monitor the progress of students, pupils, and provide regular progress reports to the stakeholders. Chair, that ends my report for LUMEZI Town Council.
Thank you so much, CS, for your submission. I now wish to invite points of clarifications, if any. Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I have 2 points of clarifications. One is, the first one is on the grants, youth and the community grants. That is on page 18. My points of clarification on this one, we have a number of actually applications which were rejected, which is about 61 out of 160 63. Now, when I went through the documents that you have submitted, the reasons that I found were, some of them were that the applicants had applied for maybe bigger amounts other than the 40,000, which is supposed to be the threshold. Then others had certificates of registration which had expired. Those two, among many, those are some of the reasons that their applications could not be successful. Now, when you look at those, I wanted to find out from you. You and I, we know that the process of actually applying for these monies are through the ward development committees. And I don't know whether, I want to find out whether the due diligence was done in terms of sensitization by you, the council, as well as the ward development committees. I say so because you, as the council, you knew very well that the threshold was 40,000. But you allowed and you accepted applications which were above 40,000. Then the other one is, it's good to learn that LUMEZI Council is able to go back to the people, especially the unsuccessful applicants, to tell them the reasons why their applications were not successful. However, I want to find out from you, when you were giving them a feedback to reasons why their applications were not successful, which mode of communication did you use in LUMEZI? Is it by radio, or by notice board, or by communicating to the would-be applicants, maybe by phone? Which mode of communication? And also the third one on the same, having actually maybe communicated to them, did you also give them a second chance to make sure that they also apply, because maybe they didn't know the requirements? For now, I want to say, maybe you can answer to those, then I'll ask the last one.
Yes, you may respond.
Thank you so much, Chair. Of course, as the LUMEZI Town Council, we've been doing sensitization meetings, which I may say here because it wasn't something that I thought we needed the evidence, but I think we've been submitting in other appearances that we've been doing here. We do also, through the WDCs, we write letters to them to list down according to the words those that have not been picked, and even those that have been successfully picked. Of course, radio programs are on weekly, and people know that the maximum amount for grants is 40,000. But sometimes they will just want to think that it can even go above that. Otherwise, posters have been put there, billboards have been put, and other things to ensure that people get this information. The WDCs also, they are aware about the limit for the grants. But you find as at the time they sit also there where advice should also be given. They don't do that. So it's until it reaches the actual committee which is supposed to look at the applications. Otherwise, the WDCs are very much aware. And of course, you also asked about what do we do about these ones who did not qualify. Some of them are called and advised on applying for the next time and ensure that they put all the necessary requirements that are needed for them to apply for the grants. Maybe the Director Planning can even add more. Chair, may the Director Planning add more?
Director Planning, you want to add?
Maybe just to add on, if you look at those that applied, those that were rejected because they applied more than the 40,000, the kind of project that they wanted to do is the hammer mill, which could not be probably negotiated to bring it a bit lower than the required amount. So that was the main reason.
So when you rejected, what advice did you tell them? Did you advise them to go for the loan component?
Of course, through the chair, it depends. If it's a club, mostly they would want just to apply for grants, because most of the clubs wouldn't want to go for loans. So we advise to apply next time, and some of them in the subsequent years, those that applied were able to be given.
Honorable Commander, follow up.
Yeah, I'm actually concerned about the number 61. That is too big. And if you look at the reasons, actually, some of them, this is something that should have been taken care by the Ward Development Committee. If the Ward Development Committee didn't do a good job, as the council, you could have gone further to scrutinize these names, so that as you go back to the CDFC, you would have just given them a list that, no, here, this is the situation which is there. And it could have been dropped from there, other than bringing them. You know very well that these are not going to be successful. Still more, you continued, because it wouldn't have been a query from there if these people were well advised. And that's the reason why I still feel like, did you do your due diligence by making sure that these people are sensitized? CS, when did you go to LUMEZI?
Yeah, I've been there for 4 years. Chair, I wish to also submit here, because when you look at the amounts allocated, there is a specific amount such that you cannot pick everyone, regardless, even if they qualified, you still can't pick everyone. So we need to look at how much do we have on the table, and then we give those that can, then the amount can manage to pay.
Anyway, thank you for that. But however, we are speaking for the people, and we should not take advantage that because there are too many of them, and because there is that. Imagine actually, you get an application where the certificate of registration is expired. You still get it. Why do you give hope from the beginning? Better you scrutinize from that area, so that people don't become so expectant. Because 61 is a very huge number, and if you look at when I was going through the appendix, I found that most of them had expired certificate of registration. And only very few, maybe about 8 or so, who had applied for more than expected. I thought that maybe in order to cushion the number of applicants just from the ward development committees, they should be cut there and be told, no, you are not successful. And also, if you look at them, some of them didn't know how to write actually project proposals, meaning that something better could have been done to avoid such a thing. Anyway, for now, I think I just wanted to tell LUMEZI Council that we need to do better. We could have actually avoided this. We couldn't be here sitting again looking at the 61 people. This number was just too much. And then the next one I am looking at the loans. When we look at the loans, Chair, you may wish to know that I was also one of those who was actually scrutinizing, and that is the first job that I did. And I was a credit officer. So
you scrutinize the loans for LUMEZI?
For those others, actually, under a certain institution. Okay. So it feels very bad when you apply and then your loan is actually rejected. So the last one is on the loans.
Page 19.
Page 19, yes. On page 19, I want to find out from you. You have actually submitted to this committee on the action taken that management wishes to state that subsequent to the audit, a total amount of 861,420 kwacha has been recovered from the outstanding amount. Now, I wanted to find out from you. You have recovered this amount of money, and you and me, we may agree that this is a revolving fund. First of all, I would like to find out from those who had applied, did you remain with some that were successful, but because of not having sufficient funds, you left them out? If that is the case, how do you do it? Do you put them on a waiting list so that when you recover some money, they are also able to be considered so that they get the loans? Or what really happens in LUMEZI? And also, what is the current status? Is this money, the amount which you have recovered, and maybe some more, still sitting in the account or not? Thank you.
Yes, the first one was just a comment. You may take the last question.
Thank you so much, Chair. What we recovered from the loan beneficiaries, currently it's in the account. And that we already advertised, and applicants were, the names were submitted to the bank so that the bank could scrutinize their project proposals, and they have since submitted back to the local authority. And then the same will now go to the CDFC for approval, then the final approval of the province. Otherwise,
the area question has also not been answered. Maybe I repeat myself. You still remember it? You can answer.
the earlier one was on like, have we considered those that were not picked in the first team after we had given them the ones that were left out? Chair, on this one, maybe the Director Planning can explain how we did it.
Director Planning.
Thank you so much, Chair. So under 2023, we didn't have the remaining list of applicants who were successful, but under 2024, and these are the people who will be considered.
Come again?
Under 2023, we do not have the outstanding list for loans, those that were successful, but under 2024. So,
my brother, just end at 2023. The report is for 2023. You want to give us for 2024 so that we ask you questions again? Huh? Honorable Singombe.
Chair, thank you so very much. On page 21 on secondary boarding and skills development bursaries. Chair, studying that table there, you will agree with me that LUMEZI had 238 applicants under skills development. When you go to the number of graduates, LUMEZI has increased from 238 to 265. Can I have a clarification as to where the extra students came from and how?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. This was a spillover because there are certain skills which take 1 year and 2 years at Chipata Trades. So meaning these other ones graduated in the other year because they had to finish for 2 years.
Okay. LUMEZI Town Council, for the chair, I wouldn't want to keep you for long. We attended a workshop during our orientation. Presentations were made to this committee. The chair also attended another workshop which was organized with the CSPR. You are #1 in Eastern Province, so for a good performance, I wouldn't want to keep you like the others who have not performed well. I think for those that are trying, it's only fair that we release you to go and do your work better. The few challenges that we have seen, although you spent 100%. I note even from the report of CSPR, you had 128% expenditure because of the carryover from the 2022 projects. This must be commended. We're not supposed to commend you, but I'm saying that this must be commended. The loan recoveries, we advise as a committee that you should put in measures to mitigate the financial losses, so that the 460 that is owing from the loans is paid back. Going forward for project implementation, because you had a carryover from 2022, we recommend that you implement your projects in time to avoid getting more money from the other years. Having said that, I wish to uncap you of the immunity that was given to you. Go back to LUMEZI and continue improving the welfare of the people.
Thank you so much, Chair.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. LUMEZI Town Council have just made their submissions before the Committee on Local Government Accounts as the committee continues